3 rounds into the Six Nations and everyone feels beatable. Italy beat Scotland. Scotland beat England. Ireland beat Italy. And then France beat Ireland. So when France put 33 on Italy in Lille, the question isn't did France win? The question is what does it mean when France can dominate a good Italy side while playing loose and messy? Because this was not France at their cleanest. This was France with high turnovers, crazy passes, risky shapes, a bit of swagger, and they still won by 25. That is what should worry the rest of the tournament. Both teams had 8 entries into the 22. France had 8, Italy had 8. Same access, and yet France averaged 4.13 points per entry. Italy averaged 0.63. That sounds like red zone efficiency, fine. But the real question is why does that keep happening to teams against France? Because it isn't just finishing, it's how France build the quality of the chance, and how France make your chance feel like hard labor. Let's set the scene. France at home, Grand Slam pressure, back-to-back title pressure, the weight of expectation. And then the late twist, Jalibert out, Ramos shifts to 10. That changes the mood of the game. Ramos isn't there to play romantic rugby. He's there to manage territory, manage tempo, and turn moments into points. Italy come in spirited, improved, well coached, strong scrum, good midfield athletes, and they proved all of that. But they also proved something else. They can compete with France without ever feeling like they're going to beat France. The core story in one line is France played loose, turned over the ball a lot, and still controlled the game because their defense was immaculate and Italy couldn't generate fast, repeatable pressure. That is the match. Look at time in lead. France led for 79 minutes. Italy led for 0. So yes, Italy had moments. Yes, Italy had weapons. But the match was never swinging. It was France in front, Italy trying to climb back up the hill. And the first half is where France banked the match. France score early. They go 19-0 up. Italy respond through a Capuzzo and a Garbisi penalty to make it 19-8 at the break. If you're watching, you're thinking Italy are competing, they're not being rolled over. But the dataset says something different. Italy are close on the scoreboard, but they're not close in control. France didn't need 15 phases. They used simple things. A kick threat that makes your backfield hesitate. A fast carry that bends you. A quick ball that turns your defensive line from set into scramble. France carried 136 times to Italy's 103. But more important than volume is what those carries did. Post-contact meters, France 326, Italy 157. France doubled them. That means France aren't just winning meters, they're winning bodies, they're winning collisions, and collisions decide ruck speed. Let's look at the ruck speed difference. This is where the match lives. Ruck speed is the stat that explains why Italy's pressure never stacked. Italy had 38% of their rucks at 6 seconds or slower. France had 27%. Italy had only 22% of rucks in the 0 to 3 second range. France had 29%. Those numbers tell you the rhythm. France had enough quick ball to play with choices. Italy had too much slow ball, which makes you predictable. And when you're predictable against France, you're playing into their biggest strength, their defense. And let's talk about France's defense. It was immaculate, connected, and nasty. This is the part that makes France feel like a level above. Tackle completion, France was 94%, Italy 82%. Missed tackles, France 10, Italy 32. That is brutal. Because 32 misses doesn't just give up line breaks, it gives up momentum, it gives up soft edges, it forces scramble, and France live off scramble moments. Italy, on the other hand, couldn't break France consistently, and the solitary try that Capuzzo scored, it wasn't Italy carving them up. It was a loose ball popping out and Capuzzo being sharp enough to pounce. Credit to him for being there, but tactically, that is not Italy solving France. That is France conceding one messy moment. Outside of that, France's scramble defense was excellent. When Italy did find a little space, France shut the door and reset. So why were the turnovers so high? Because France were playing loose. Turnovers lost, France 21, Italy 22. That's a messy game for both sides. But here's the difference. When Italy turned it over, it often killed their own pressure because their ruck speed was already slow and their lineout was unreliable. They couldn't rebuild. When France turned it over, it didn't cost them as much because their defense won the next picture. They would reset, squeeze Italy, and often get the ball back or force a bad exit. France can afford chaos because their defensive system is so stable. Italy can't afford chaos because they still need stability to create pressure. And that is the gap. Italy's scrum was real. It just didn't become scoreboard threat. Italy's scrum win rate was higher. Italy 86% and France 78%. And you could feel it. Italy's scrum looked like a more attacking weapon than France's at times, which is incredible given how powerful France are. And that's a massive positive for Italy. But then you get to the next step. You win the penalty. You kick to the corner. And then you muck up the lineout. Lineout win rate for Italy was 63%. France 89%. Italy had 16 lineouts. France had 9. So Italy were trying to play the right game, win scrum moments, kick for territory, build pressure off lineouts. But if you lose a third of your lineouts, you're puncturing your own attack. That's not just lost ball, that's lost momentum, that's lost field position, that's lost belief. And again, France, you don't get endless chances. The late game tells the truth. Italy had the ball. France had the points. In the last 10 minutes, Italy had 54% possession. France had 46%. So Italy actually had more ball late in the game. But the last 10-minute points, France had 9. Italy had 0. That is the most France stat in the whole sheet. It says, you can have the ball, we'll have the scoreboard. It also says France can close games without needing to dominate phases. The match timeline shows two things. First half, France strike early, build the lead and bank control. In the second half, France don't need to be brilliant every minute. They just need to be accurate when the opportunity arrives. The Liner yellow card is a classic example. Italy finally wobble in discipline, and France take the bonus point window seriously. They don't drift, they cash it. Then late, France put the match to bed with the final scores. That's championship behavior. Not pretty, not perfect, just ruthless. Let's look at the player stats. What does that really tell us? Let's look at carries list. Atisogbe, 20 carries. Capozzo, 15 carries. Miafu, 13 carries. That doesn't mean one thing. It means 3 different things. Atisogbe at 20 tells you France's outside backs are not passengers. They do work in the hard areas. They carry into traffic. They help win the gain line, not just finish in the corner. Miafu at 13 tells you France's tight 5 are still the platform. That is the engine. That is repeated collision wins. That is why the ruck speed tilts in France's favor. And Capozzo at 15 tells you what Italy needed to do to stay alive. They leaned on their most electric runner and asked him to create something from imperfect ball. Then look at line breaks. France 7, Italy 5. Italy had breaks. Manoncello had 2. Marin looked lively. Capozzo carried hard. But again, breaks don't matter if you can't stack phases at speed afterwards. And France tackled so cleanly that even when Italy did win a moment, France could recover the picture. That's why it never felt like Italy were about to score a second try. France were too connected. Let's look at the bigger strategic conclusion. France are a tier above. This is the scary part. France didn't win because they were clinical and clean. They weren't always in this game. They won because even when they played loose and took risks, their defense and collision dominance still put Italy in a cage. Italy competed. Italy didn't roll over. Italy had a scrum weapon, but they never looked like they were going to win because they couldn't generate fast, repeatable pressure, and they couldn't turn field position into a real line-breaking threat. And when you zoom out to the tournament chain, Italy handled Scotland. Scotland handled England. Ireland beat Italy, but had to work hard for it. France handled Ireland. So France handling Italy like this, while playing messy, is not just a win, it's a warning. France are head and shoulders above the Six Nations right now. If you're Italy, you don't throw this away. There are real positives from this game. The scrum is a genuine weapon. The midfield has athletes who can threaten teams. The fight stayed for 80, but the next steps are clear. Line-out accuracy, because 63% is killing your pressure. Ruck speed, because 38% of rucks at 6+ seconds means you're playing uphill. And an attacking plan that creates tries, not just territory. If you're France, the lesson is simple. You can win when it's beautiful. You can win when it's ugly. You can win when you're clean. And you can win when you're loose. That is not normal. That is a complete team. This match wasn't a highlight reel performance. It was a statement of control. 94% tackle completion, 10 missed tackles. That is a team with standards. 326 post-contact meters. That is a team that wins the physical battle even when the game gets chaotic. And the most important part, Italy were brave. Italy were competitive. Italy even found scrum joy. But they still never felt like they were going to break France open. That's what the best teams do. They make good teams feel like they're fighting for oxygen. So if you're a French supporter, be proud. This is what a Grand Slam team looks like. Not perfect, not fragile, just inevitable. And if France find their cleanest rugby on top of this defensive base, then the rest of the championship isn't chasing a team, they're chasing a standard. Les Bleus are setting it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please subscribe. And tell me in the comments, was this France winning ugly or France showing the kind of defensive class that makes everyone else look ordinary? And for Italy, what's the bigger fix? Line out, ruck speed, or strike power in the 22? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. And I will see you in the next one.